Oh yeah, right there, that Wilson Combat grip for the Sig P320. So why are we talking about a different grip module other than the Sig or the X5 or the X5 Legion grip when it comes down to something that already has a pretty good frame out of the factory? That's a very simple answer. Your grip is the foundation of everything you're gonna do out on the range and in the world with this thing right here. And if you don't have a good grip, or you don't have a grip that is ergonomically correct for you, you're not gonna have the best experience out there. And it's kind of like a happy median. You want to be able to get your hands to meet somewhere in the middle with the ergonomics of your chosen tool out there for the day to make sure that you are maximizing your effectiveness out there on the range. For me, when it comes to the Sig P320, I wasn't always a fan, so I tried out a couple different grips. I've got this bad boy right here with that Polymer 80 grip on it. Love that thing. Just a ton of fun out there, and that Polymer 80 grip is very good. I did a review on that. I will leave that down below in case you are interested. Now we gotta have a little bit of a conversation here because I noticed a lot of you are not subscribed. So if you're here for the first time, or if you're coming back, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification icons on. And if you're into this stuff or anything else going on here, go ahead and hit that like button throughout the video. And then of course, you wouldn't be into SIGs if you didn't try the X5 style grip right there, that X series, which is nice because you get that mag well. I've got an X5 grip in there somewhere in the safe. And then I've got the Chiquita Banger, the tactical Martha Stewart gone wrong project when I tried to dye a white Sig X compact grip orange, and it came out looking like a banana. But the Wilson Combat was just the next one I wanted to check into to see how it felt compared to everything else. We're gonna go ahead and get into this grip, but before we do, a huge thank you to the sponsor of the channel, and that is gonna be Shall Not Comply Clothing. So you can see my shirt here. They've taken on my brand like Reno May, Johnny B, and a couple of others, and they handle all the merch from my channel here, which is awesome because there's no way I could keep up with it, and they're just great people over there. They get your orders in quick, they get that stuff shipped out fast, and they gave a coupon code of TAC10, so TAC10, which is gonna save you 10% on your entire order, whether it's my branded gear or not. And of course, a huge shout out to all of my Patreons for all the support you guys given me. I can never thank you guys enough. And then if you are interested in anything you see here today, I'll leave links down below for that stuff. Check the first link in the description, it takes you off to where that stuff is because we can't leave some of that stuff here. We're gonna go ahead and get into this thing right now. All right, that Wilson Combat Sig P320 grip. Let's just take a good overall look at this thing and then we'll get into those fine details. You can see that nice kind of pattern on there, that starburst pattern. Good texture, sandpaper texture on the back and on the front of that pistol grip. Has a very nice integrated mag well. You can see right there, nicely flared all the way around the bottom, which is awesome if you've got bigger hands because it completely captures your pinky and hand all the way around and makes those magazine exchanges super quick should you be out there trying to go for time on the range. Coming forward from there, got a very nice single finger groove on it. I'm normally not a fan of finger grooves, but I'm telling you, it just feels absolutely awesome on this one as it does on the X series grip. It's pretty nicely dipped up in there, not as deep as some double undercuts, but it's nice and thick. I like that thickness right there because it really captures more of that finger and just keeps your hand nice and high on that grip. Going forward, pretty much the same as usual. Nothing crazy going on there, no double undercut. Go ahead and take this light off. Okay, you do have a multi-slot accessory rail up front in the Wilson Combat grip. Got a little bit of damage to mine. We'll talk more about that in a second because that's not the grip's fault, that's my fault. Going forward from there, you do have some indexing marks kind of right here in front of the takedown lever that you can get your thumb onto, and then it's nicely chamfered right there so you can use this with like the carry style slide and it will meet very, very nicely in there and still give you that full capacity. Now I will say the trigger, the fire control unit in here, super tight. I mean super tight to get down in there. The beaver tail right here is very nicely rounded off. I'll bring in my X5 so you can kind of see it's very similar, but it has a little bit less of a point, more of a radius, more surface area, which is always a good thing. Coming up, you do have that nice little kind of depression right here to keep you from accidentally activating your extended slide stop slide release. And it's going to be, as usual, normal on the other side. And it does come with your magazine release, which is metal. So talking about the magazines, you do have the big extendos, the 21 SIGs. There is a stop up here, so you can see right there, you're not gonna be overextending should you jam the 21 round mags up in there. And then on the 17 rounders, you can see right there, nice good fit on there, very flush, but still gives you need a minimal amount of movement like that for magazines to really run right. You don't want them to be up in there so tight that you cannot get them to function. Well, let's go ahead and compare this a little bit to the Polymer 80 and that X5 grip. So we'll bring in the X series grip first. So differences are gonna be, you have a little bit more, put these side by side, you can see you've got a little bit more trigger guard here with the X series grip, but you still have that single finger groove, very familiar angle here, and pretty much very familiar all the way forward. I will say between these two, the grip texture on the Wilson Combat is far superior in the front strap, back strap, and about the same on the sides. Even though it's deeper and there's more of it, it's a little bit smooth as compared to the all-around sandpaper grip on the X series grip. However, on this one, like I said, you get that integrated magwell, which you do not get on some of the X grips, you get on some of them. So it all depends on how you purchase those. Now, when it comes to the Polymer 80 grip, and this has been one of my favorites because I love the texture on the Polymer 80s. I love that grip angle. You're gonna see that these ones are very similar. The Polymer 80 does give you a little bit more of that beaver tail back there, okay? It's a little bit more thick in this area and a little bit more squared off, where the Wilson is a little bit more round. You're gonna have roughly the same size of trigger guards right here, and you have a tiny bit of a double undercut on the Polymer 80 where you do not on the Wilson Combat. Then you've got a little bit more indexing area up here on the Polymer 80. But again, I do really like the texture on the front strap and back strap of the Wilson Combat. It is a little bit more grippy than the Polymer 80, at least on the front and the back, and then the sides is a little bit more smooth. Again, the Polymer 80 does not give you an integrated magwell. You'd have to buy one like that. Well, let's go ahead and take one last good look at this thing right here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll wrap this up. And we're gonna talk about that little issue right here on that rail and why that's kind of a little deformed like that. And then the overall feelings on this grip, how it performs out there, and if you need to watch out for anything while you're using this because it has metal mags. Yeah, buddy. When it comes to the 320, it is a little bit difficult to choose which grip module you want to go with. Like I said, I've got the X series grip. I love those, and it's got a finger groove in it, which I normally don't like finger grooves, but for some odd reason, it just really captures my hand great. It's the same with this Wilson Combat. You've got the Polymer 80 grips. Those are absolutely outstanding as well, and they give you that really nice 1911 style angle, which I'm a huge fan of because it really works with my wrist when I present this thing out. When it comes to the Wilson Combat, I have to say they absolutely nailed it on this grip. Make sure it locks on my beautiful face.
Mama taught me how to live, Daddy taught me how to give. Both of them had their own sins, down to the river. Every man has felt the shame. All our blood, it runs the same. Father, hear us as we pray. Down to the river, down to the river. Sing, oh, oh, bury me, carry me, oh, oh, far beneath, oh, oh, fire and water me, going down deep, singing, oh, oh, bury me, carry me, oh, oh.
The texture, both on the side, the front, and the back strap, is extremely grippy, nice, but it doesn't tear up your fragile little hands out there on the range if you use too much lotion. Stop using lotion, get some man hands. So it's good. It's very grippy without being to the point where it's gonna tear your hands up, which is always solid. That finger groove in there, I find that it just really keeps my primary hand just dug up into that trigger guard right there where it should be to get that nice high grip. The way they kind of redid the beaver tail on here as compared to some of the others is definitely nice. It has more of a rounded radius than kind of more of a point like some other ones have. And overall, it just feels great. The actual ergonomics and the angles of this feel quite good. And one of the best parts is they've given you that integrated mag well, which really, I mean, having bigger hands, that is absolutely exceptional for those of us that wear XX size gloves, because it's going to keep your hand all the way up on that grip when you're doing those magazine exchanges, and it gives you all that extra surface area. And I will say that getting this trigger module in here was tight. This thing is so tight in there, which is probably by design, because they want that thing sitting in there as permanently and as fixed as it can be, because you don't want that trigger module moving around on you. Now, if there is one thing that I would say would be something to keep an eye on too, even though I love that mag well, we are sticking metal mags up into a polymer mag well. So you're gonna have to pay attention to that and the wear and tear on that grip module. The great thing is you can just replace the grip module and they're really not that expensive. And talking about that replacement, I think these are coming in right now at about 65 bucks. That's not bad at all. In fact, most of us in the Glock world or anywhere else, you pay around $100 for a mag well. That's a complete grip with a mag well in it. I know they do offer, I think, only 2 colors right now, the black, and I think they got a flat dark earth out, but they give you the full size, they give you the compact, and I do believe they also have the manual safety in for those of you that have a safety out there. The only other thing I did notice is right up here, I'll pop this light off real quick. Give me a second.
A few moments later.
All right, so you will see just a little bit of wear right there, kind of on this side right there. And the reason for that is the holster that I use out on the range is the Black Hawk Omnivore. Now the cool thing about, I dropped my light. No, I got my light. Now the cool thing about that holster is it'll pretty much fit any modern pistol out there because it attaches onto the light kind of right in this area. So it's designed to work with the X300 or the Streamlight TLR1HL like this one right here. Now what that does do though is if you don't activate that button exactly at the perfect time when you go to rip this thing out of that holster, is it puts a lot of pressure right there on that edge. So every once in a while, it will kind of just dig into that rail a little bit. Now that's not a problem with the grip module of any of these different brands. That is something just to pay attention to on that holster. That holster serves a great purpose for being able to use a bunch of different pistols out on the range, but you may damage your rail a little bit if you don't get that button activated at the perfect time to yank that thing out of the holster. Now, if you are in the market for a grip module, because I just don't like the factory ones, I started in my P320 with the M17. I really did not like the original P320 grip, and that goes back to when they first came out. It just felt terrible in the hand because of how radiused it was in the front and in the back. And it just felt like I was holding a stress ball, and I did not like it. So getting into the X series, the Polymer 80, and now the Wilson Combat, if you're in the market for a grip, I would definitely look this one up, and I would probably put it at the top of my list, not only because the integrated mag well and everything, but the price point is pretty solid as well. Well, that is what I have for you today. I hope you guys liked learning about the Wilson Combat Grip for the P320. In my opinion, it is definitely one to look into. Again, huge thank you to my patrons and of course SNC for being a sponsor of the channel. Make sure you check them out at shallnotcomply.com and use that code TAC10 to get yourself 10% off your whole purchase. You guys get out there and have some fun on the range, and remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I will see you guys on the next one.